Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective company. There has been a question on everyone's tongue since the day a new character was introduced. Thor. But not the Thor that you know. You see, at the end of the original Sin event, and in our video for it, Thor was deemed unworthy of his Mjolnir because of something that Nick Fury said to him. And he lost control of the hammer. It landed on the moon and nobody has been able to lift it. Well, almost no one. The All-Father Odin and the All-Mother Freya both tried to no avail. All of Thor's friends even tried to no avail. And Thor himself tried for weeks to no avail. One person was able to though. A new Thor. A female Thor. But she doesn't go by the name Female Thor, or even Thor Rita as Spider-Man tried to call her. She just goes by Thor, and no one knows her identity because it's one of her closely guarded secrets. The original Thor now goes by the name of Odin's son, and he wields a mighty axe. At first, he demanded to know who took his hammer, but when he saw that she was only fighting for justice, he understood why Mjolnir chose her and did not allow him to lift the hammer again. He does accept that she is worthy and that he isn't, but he's not done trying to fix his own worthiness, and he believes that step one is to find out who this person that can wield his hammer is. If she won't tell him her identity, then he will cut through the 10 realms until someone tells him. Many nights he heads back to the spot on the moon where he dropped the hammer, just to look at where it once was. Why is she worthy? Why? Odin's son's friend Volstagg comes over to see if he's okay. Because thou art yelling to thyself on the moon, as he puts it. But Odin's son just turns to him. Unless you were here to tell me the name of the woman beneath Thor's helmet, I care not what you have to say, Senator Volstagg. But if Volstagg isn't here to discuss the new Thor, he's here to let Odin's son know Jane Foster has collapsed. You see, Jane Foster was diagnosed with breast cancer and she's been residing on Asgard under their care ever since. She is refusing any magical treatments and insisting on doing this the way that they handle it on Midgard. She is human, and she will suffer as humans do, because magic comes with a price, and she doesn't trust it. No matter how much Odin's son begs, she just continues to refuse. So they embrace, and she asks him, "Are you really calling yourself Odin's son? You are so much more than your father's son. When you are well, you can call me whatever you'd like," he says as he holds her closer. "I'm going to remember that, Lord Thunderbritches." As Odin's son walks away, he takes out a list, and he crosses off the name Jane Foster. This is his list of everyone who could possibly be the new Thor. And Jane is just too ill to possibly take up that role. So his next stop is Agent Coulson to demand the answer, who is Thor? But Coulson doesn't know either. As a matter of fact, he was hoping that Odin's son could fill him in, and in response, Odin's son smashes his axe into Coulson's computer. Though if you need time to think about it, that's cool too, Coulson says. "Where is Agent Solomon?" Odin's son demands to know. "Agent Solomon? She's been on leave for at least a few weeks." "Wait, you don't think that she's the new Thor, do you?" And Odin's son just glares at him. "We could probably call her. You want to call her? Let's call her." "Agent Solomon, this is S.H.I.E.L.D. Command. Come in, please." Oddly enough, no one has seen Agent Solomon in about 5 days, ever since she went to the moon to find her hero, Thor. So what of this new Thor? What is she doing? Well, her first battles have been against Minotaur and Malekith, and they appear to be making an alliance, so she's here to stop it. Meanwhile, the All-Mother approaches the All-Father. "This is madness. Tell me that the hushed whispers of your guards are untrue. Tell me you did not put your murderous, deranged brother in control of the most dangerous weapon known to the gods." But Odin is unfazed by this accusation. "Kull serves my will of late. I dare say he has shown more fealty than you have, Freya." And in response, she slaps him, but he barely flinches. "You should not have done that. I will see that hammer return to Asgard, no matter the cost." Back with Thor, just as she's preparing to lay waste to Minotaur and Malekith, the Destroyer lands on top of her, knocking her over. But this is Thor, do not be mistaken, and she leaps into the air prepared for battle. only to be knocked aside by the destroyer once again. Not to be trifled with, Thor leaps back into battle and the two of them fall from the Minotaur's floating kingdom. Alas, as Thor hits the ground, she drops Mjolnir. But she looks up to see the destroyer still pressing forward, now with Mjolnir in his hands. But need I remind you that this is Thor, and she jumps up headbutting the destroyer. As the battle carries on elsewhere, Odinson receives a call from his mother as he rides the skies of Midgard. She uses the magics of the Bifrost to teleport to Odinson and inform him that his father is attempting to kill Thor. She needs his assistance and any others that he can think of. And he replies with, "My axe is yours, mother, and I already hold a list of those that may fight alongside us." And Thor. Back with Thor, she's getting beat by her own hammer, but bloodied and beaten, she gets back up. "That will be the last time that you ever strike me with mine own hammer." And she gets up and begins to call back Mjolnir. The destroyer is not worthy, and he's only able to hold it because it's technically a machine. So Thor uses her control over Mjolnir to launch the destroyer throughout the entire battlefield, bouncing him off every wall and surface there. Then, as the goddess of thunder, she summons the power of lightning down to throw everything at the destroyer. The explosion is massive, and then the hammer returns to Thor, where she gives it a kiss. Good hammer. Problem is, this is the destroyer, one of Thor's greatest enemies and an unstoppable machine. It continues to walk forward, and Thor thinks to herself, "It can't end this way. I will not be a footnote in the history of Thor. I will not be Thor for 5 days and then have died." When suddenly the Bifrost opens and out steps Odinson and everyone that he had on his list of potential new Thors. "You will not stand alone this day, Thor. So swears Prince Odinson of Asgard and his mother." The entire group of women that he brought with him leap into the fray and they begin to beat down the destroyer. And there's a lot of them, too many for the destroyer. All the while, Thor insists that she had this and does not require the help. Eventually, Freya, the All-Mother, leaps onto the destroyer and stabs it right in the face. Kull turns to Odin in the throne room. Your wife just stabbed me in the face, if you were unaware." But the destroyer then takes Freya by the throat and shoots another blast into the air. Odinson and Thor both leap in to protect Lady Freya, and she looks at the destroyer in the eyes. "Do you see what you have wrought, Lord Husband? Look upon thy mighty works, the legacy of Odin." So Odin turns his head from his viewing orb. "Let it go, Kull." "What?" "Let her go and leave the battlefield. Damn you, woman, for making me the villain." With that, the destroyer takes off and leaves everyone there. Thor thanks everyone for what they've done this day, while they begin to clean up the battlefield. Sif then turns to Thor before she leaves. "You want my advice? Lose the hammer and the sidekick." "Sidekick?" Odinson shouts out questioningly. "Both are bound to bring you naught but trouble." And Sif leaves with everyone else, leaving just Odinson and Thor. Odinson turns to Thor. "Just so that we are clear, I am not thy sidekick. No more secrets, Thor. I know who you are. You are Agent Rosalind Solomon, and if you just admit to me that you are that person, I will tell you what Nicholas Fury said to me that left me unworthy. Please, tell me the truth." Thor stumbles to find her words. I. When out of the blue, Agent Solomon arrives. She drops down with Odinson and Thor and starts shouting at Thor. "You nearly got me killed, lady. I was on that island when you started this fight." Odinson just stands there in shock. So Thor isn't Agent Solomon? He just gawks at her, repeating, "Agent Solomon?" Thor sees this as her chance, and she takes off for the heavens once again, leaving Odinson standing there to talk things out with Rosalind. Thor then returns to an undisclosed location on Asgard, where she turns and throws Mjolnir off into space to await her call again. As she begins to change back into her true self, she thinks to herself that this is how it needs to be. If Odinson and everyone really knew who she was, they would never allow her to remain as Thor. But the world needs a Thor, and that's what matters. They need a god who understands what it means to be humbled, to be mortal. And as the last of the magic from Mjolnir leaves Thor, she falls to the ground weak. And we see that Thor is in fact Jane Foster. And that's it, guys. We finally know who it is. Now, if you were following Twitter, you kind of knew already, but it is Jane Foster. And for the record, there is a history of the hammer giving people with crippling ailments or physical problems all the power to become Thor. Just look at what happened back in the day with Donald Blake. But that's it. It is Jane Foster, and she is suffering from cancer, but the hammer allows her to be Thor. What's gonna happen next? I don't know, because we're going into Secret Wars, and supposedly Jane will remain Thor afterwards. So if you want to chat about this comic or any others, follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian. And don't forget, we have a gaming variety channel known as Eligible Monster and a list-based channel known as List Bomb, where you can get all of the goodie lists that we put together. I'm Benny for Comicstorian, and I will see you guys next time right here.